They say money doesn't buy happiness, but what if you don't have enough money to pay for fun, entertainment, clothing, or shelter? The current minimum wage is not enough to allow employees to provide the basic necessities for life, such as without getting government assistance. Every person that enters the workforce typically starts off as a minimum wage job, therefore are impacted by the rate. I've worked for minimum wage and can imagine paying for all my living expenses on such a low income. In preview, we will discuss how raising the minimum wage benefits businesses by increasing the money spent by consumers, how people earning minimum wage are unable to pay all living expenses without government assistance, and finally, if we increase the earning power of employees, it will increase his or her self-worth. Alright, let's get down to business. Raising the minimum wage benefits businesses by increasing the money spent by consumers. According to the article, The Minimum Wage Helps Small Businesses, published by Gale, edited by Noah Berlasky on July 21st, 2009, a minimum wage increase can positively impact the economy as employees would have a higher pay that results in more money spent within the economy. If you are a person trying to survive on a low income, then you will get rid of things that you don't need. As a result, there is less money being spent on goods and services. When employers increase compensation, the employee is able to spend more money, which circulates more money into the economy. What the employer loses in paying a fair wage, they gain back by increasing the revenue of business sales. Money which otherwise could come from government assistance, which in turn is taxpayers' dollars. Therefore, by increasing the minimum wage, it is rightfully putting the burden on the business owners. Now that we have discussed how it increases the minimum wage helps the economy, let's discuss how a low minimum wage affects tax dollars. People working full-time at minimum wage are unable to pay all living expenses without government assistance. Also, according to The Minimum Wage Helps Small Businesses, published by Gale, edited by Noah Berlasky, minimum wage workers still make less than they did in the 50s. Minimum wage workers in 1956 made $7.93 if the amount is adjusted for inflation. The minimum wage was put in place to ensure that employees don't take advantage of the employees. Over time, the cost of living increases and it is expected that the minimum wage increases as well. Our current minimum wage is still less than it was in the 50s relative to the cost of living. Businesses, however, have been able to adjust the prices of product to survive through the raise in cost of living. However, they have not been forced to adjust the employees' wage when their budgets can allow it. The current low minimum wage is crippling the non-skilled employees. Furthermore, Thomas Perez discusses a minimum wage hike would help single-parent families, published by Gale in 2016, that a minimum wage increase could affect 28 million employees positively. Of that 28 million, there are 12 million that live in poverty. A minimum wage increase to $10.10 would allow 2 million of those workers to raise above poverty level. A person or family has to have a minimum amount of money to survive and thrive in the economy. This does not account for the food, utilities, clothing, and housing. These alone are necessities and do not include the extras such as entertainment, which also could be considered a necessity since it improves the quality of life. When employees are not making enough money to survive in everyday life, they are required to get assistance from the government, which in turn is costing taxpayers money. If the minimum wage is increased to a fair amount, this would decrease the need for government assistance. The minimum wage doesn't just affect the employee's ability to spend money. Increasing the earning power of employees increases his or her self-worth. Norm Ornstein discusses in There is a Moral and Economic Case for Raising the Minimum Wage, published by Gale in 2015, that working increases a person's self-worth and people want to work, but the minimum wage provides less of an income than government assistance they receive without a job. The way the system is currently set up is workers are essentially forced to remain unemployed. With minimum wage set so low, it makes more sense for employees to stay on government assistance than to get a job. However, when a person lives on government assistance, there is only so much they can earn. They cannot receive a promotion or an increased wage to try to better their lives. This creates a vicious cycle that low-income families are trapped in by the circumstances. Working and providing for yourself makes a person feel proud and accomplished, whereas taking handouts can bruise your pride. Regardless of how a person feels, they have to be able to feed their families, and the current low minimum wage does not allow this. Now let's talk about the other side of things. While there are many reasons to increase minimum wage, there are people that believe that it is not required. That does not require an increase. According to James Shirk in Raising the Minimum Wage Will Not Reduce Poverty, published by Gale in 2012, raising the minimum wage will force employers to hire less. Employers also don't want to pay more. To non-skilled workers when they can hire someone with more skill. Therefore, those who oppose the increase believe it makes bottom wage workers too expensive. As a result, business owners will cut costs. They feel this will eliminate the entry-level jobs that create a foundation for the workers. James Shirk also states in Raising the Minimum Wage Will Not Reduce Poverty, published in Gale in 2012, that majority of minimum wage employees are students working for extra money. They say it doesn't cause poverty because it is students working for money and not paying for their cost of living. Students working just for extra money. Now that you've heard both sides, let's raise minimum wage and make America great again. In conclusion, increasing the wage helps small businesses because it's putting more money into the economy. Increasing the wage will decrease the amount of help needed by government assistance. This is the freaking and increasing the earning power of employees will increase his or her self-worth. Today's current low minimum wage will not pay for all the necessities that people need. In the U.S., we believe in the pursuit of happiness and the prosperity of all workers, even the non-skilled workers. So let's raise minimum wage.